All right, thanks for tuning in to this episode. Today we're going to look at P. Craig Russell's The Selfish Giant and Other Stories, Art Edition. Tales from Art School, Fine Art Edition. Okay, a Fine Art Edition are these larger 11 by 17 books. Regular comic books, they're about this size, so you can see how big the book is. But before we talk about this book, I want to do a little bit of a self-promotion and talk about one of the books that I've worked on, which is Justice League Unlimited, Girl Power. So if you're interested in buying this book that I worked on, I add links below my video description that you can order on Amazon. Anything you order will give me a little bit of commission. So here's me, Divide and Conquer, penciler of Carlo Barberi. And that's me, Walden Wong, which I'm the inker. So I worked on this for Justice League Unlimited. Okay, so check that out at links below the video description right over here. Now we're going to move on and talk about P. Craig Russell, The Selfish Giant and Other Stories. We'll look at the cover. This isn't a retail book. This was originally a crowdfunding book that people can crowdfund and to buy these books. This is buying. There's no UPC code on this. And I didn't do the crowdfunding. I actually bought this in the secondary market. This is before I started collecting artist editions. So let's check out the inside. Nice, bright, and yellow. Some of the art. We're going to move on to the next page. Here we go. Wayne Allen Hero Productions. Okay, and here's some of the credits. Credits talk about the lettering. It looks like lettering is all done by Bill Pearson, lettering, and then actually a few different titles. Dependent, Selfish Giant and Star Child is by Bill, and the other titles are by Gallon. Front cover colorist and all that. First edition printed. Okay, this was actually printed in 2019, and here's the contents, introduction, and so forth. If you want to read some of this, you can pause the video and then read it. Introduction by P. Craig Russell. I'm going to bring this closer to the camera, so for those of you who want to read this introduction, here we go. Just pause the video and read it, and then we're going to continue. We're going to move on to the next page and look at the artwork. And this is the Iron Giant. Oscar Wilde's The Selfish Iron Giant. Adapted for comics by P. Craig Russell. We're going to call him Mr. Russell, so I don't have to say P. Craig Russell. So that's a long name. Okay, here's this artwork. Okay, very nice use of line weights where he's making the line weight of the giant really thick and everything else a little bit smaller. This is a good way to make the illusion of that character is huge. Just like this rock over here, to separate the foreground and background, Mr. Russell made the outline of this really thick, and then the characters in the background thinner. I would have actually gone in here and made these little rocks thicker, not just the outline, but also these lines to give it more depth. So we have a background, middle ground, and foreground. So those of you who land on this channel looking for P. Craig Russell work and you don't know who I am, my name is Walden Wong, and I'm a comic book artist for Marvel and DC. Been doing comics for over 20 years. And I'm known as an inker, even though I pencil, ink, color, and letter. But I have majority of my work is in inking. And being able to ink, I've worked with and studied a lot of different pencilers' work before I approached doing inking on their projects. Okay, look at all that. It's very nice. And with 20 years of experience at looking at other people's work, I can spot immediately where something looks kind of off or something is wrong. Like, for example, like this yellowish color was probably a period originally, and then they decided to change that to ellipses. Ellipses like a 3 dot. So I was like, when they say, "Oh, now I know why the spring will not come." So with the 3 ellipses, it would be, "Now I know why the spring will not come," like that. Okay, and then we have some ellipses over here. Okay, we're going to look at some of the other pages. I would actually ink some of these a little bit thicker, especially on the nose area. Yeah, so this is done well. This is done well. Some of the lines are a little bit scratchy, but still pretty good. So the back line here is really thick and the lines are here thick, and then the hair is a little bit thin. I would try to make everything consistent. I like how Mr. Russell draws eyes with a dot. That looks kind of cool. These little dots, almost like a blank stare. I should start drawing comic books on my own or commissions and just draw dots. They look kind of fun. Because the Iron Giant, I really, really like the way Mr. Russell draws shadows. Like some lines, the hatch lines are thinner, and then some hatch lines are thicker or closer to each other. That's done really nicely. And then we have this. We're going to move on. Now, if I'm going a little bit too fast, feel free to pause the video so you can look at it and you can read it. Okay. Now, I'm doing a lot of art editions, but check out some of my other videos that I've done on my YouTube channel. I do art review and critique. I also do tutorials and some of the products and industry stuff and how to clean things, clean microns, clean repeatograph pins. So if you're into art, especially comic book art, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. And if you enjoy my videos, please check out my Patreon, and you can also show some support over on my Patreon. My Patreon is patreon.com/WaldenWongArt. There's different tiers of showing support. And if you're an artist that's looking for a professional artist, such as myself, to critique your work, I have mentorship tiers over on my Patreon. So check that out as well. There's different types of mentorship. Some where you can download files and work on your own. There's some that you can download files, send it to me, and I would critique your artwork and make a YouTube video so you can learn from it, and I'll also post it up on YouTube where everyone can also see. And check out my website also. My website is over here. It's WaldenWongArt.com. Check that out. Over there, if you want to learn more about me and you don't know what I do, that website has everything that, not everything, but talks about my career as a comic book artist in the industry, some of the awards I won, there's videos that you can watch, news section, a gallery of some of the artwork that I've worked on. You can also buy some of the original art, such as these larger 11 by 17 size artwork that I've worked on, and have it shipped directly to your doorstep. And if you're into collecting prints, like if you go to comic book conventions and you buy prints from artists, you can also buy some prints from me, and I can also ship those to you. And if you wanted me to do commissions, 11 by 17 commissions or smaller commissions, feel free to contact me over on my website. I can do inking commissions. So if you have pencils from other artists and you wanted that to be inked, I can do inking commissions. I can also do pencil, inking, coloring, or any of the combinations, commissions as well. So check out my website, WaldenWongArt.com. Again, here is the website down below, right over here, WaldenWongArt.com. Okay, and now we continue looking at the rest of this book. Doesn't look like he's using a brush here. It looks like he's using maybe microns. Yeah, everything is the same line thickness over here compared to some of the artwork that's in the front. So this is with a brush, there's line weights going on here. But here, not only is everything a flat line, some of the colors are fading from the ink. So maybe he's not dipping his quill or brush into the pen. He's started to use like microns. These are microns. These are absolutely micron work. I could tell like right away. And then now he's going back to using indie ink. Okay, here's this. Yeah, yep. Over here is much nicer, much cleaner. Not microns. Here's nice indie ink. You can tell if it's like a nice rich indie ink that's painted on, or compared to if it's micron work like that. With microns, I try not to use microns, especially if I just buy them directly from an art store. If I do buy microns, I want to make sure those are indie ink. Indie ink that are in microns, those ink are archival inks, meaning that over time, that ink won't turn brown, it won't fade, it'll stay black. Okay. I wonder why he had to shade this in pencil. That could have been left out. I think some artists, sometimes they just want to see how it looks like if this was darker. So the colors, when they get it, they're going to knock out all that blue, and then you're just going to add like another tone of color over there. Okay, very nice, intricate details over here. This looks very, very cool. Okay, here's some of the tic-tac-toe pattern. over here. I do see the paste, that the letter paste there. There's a little white line over here. So the letter actually typed in white text over a black background. Glue stick that on, and then you still see that little bit of that line right over here. Okay, could have used ink to like cover that line up. Okay, wow, look how nice this looks. Very detailed. Microns. This kills me. Look, see how it's turning yellow? Look at the color between here and here. Okay. So, Mr. Russell, I know that you're really into archiving your artwork. If you create more art in the future, use microns. You know what? For all you artists here, check out one of my videos that I've made on YouTube, and like go to my profile page and click video. Look for the most popular videos. That popular video that I made shows you how I replace ink and refill microns. I use my own indie ink to refill the microns that I use. So when I use those microns, when I ink with it, it won't turn brown or gray like that. It will stay black. It will stay nice and black. Okay, so check out that video, how I refill microns. You can refill microns with any brand of fine liners, Micron, Statler, Sakura pins, all of them. They're all done the same way. The companies doesn't want you to know that you can fill them because they want you to sell you more pins, but you can easily fill them. All it takes is a few minutes. Look, I like all the different textures over here. Just stippling here, just cross hatching here, just like tick marks here. Lots of different textures going on right here. This is really nicely done, this panel over here. Okay, we have this page. Okay, not that much contrast or shadows going on. Sometimes when you see P. Craig Russell work, he uses a lot of shadows like this one, and other times everything is left plain, almost like kind of like Mobius. If you know who Mobius is, he also draws things that are like just line work without that much color on top of it. Okay, we're gonna take a look at this page. Now we're gonna take a look at the work over here. When you look at the line work on this compared to the line work on this or this, you can tell the difference. There's a different of inks that we use. I'm going to bring it closer. Now look at some of this pattern that Mr. Russell did. It's much darker, but when you look at this, it's a little bit of a orange, brownish. Same with this. I understand the process of doing that. When you're using a quill, it's easier to just flick lines in there like that. But when you're drawing an intricate pattern, you don't want to be dipping your pen and kind of losing that flow of the lines. So what he did was he just dipped the pens and inking all these lines, and then just use a micron and just kind of noodle all of this detail in there. Okay, but again, save those microns, let it empty out, and then refill it like one of my previous videos, my most popular video on how to fill microns. So if you're watching this, Mr. Russell, check it out, and then you can have your artwork completely solid black with archival inks that you use. Okay, we're going to look at this page. All freehand, so drawn in pencil first. I see some pencil lines drawn. Okay, this one was from a photograph. Okay, looks like he traced this on a light box with a like he took a picture of a church and then drew this in light box in pencil first and then inked on top of it. Let me take a closer look. Let's take a closer look. Okay, look at the building structure. Everything is so perfectly and precise, and then just some wobbly lines. Yeah, it looks like he was looking at a reference photo, traced it in, and then started inking on top, which is okay. A lot of comic books are done these days. They would just use reference photos. Sometimes artists would not drawing all those details. I could tell based on how perfect the structure is and some of the shadows. That is only because I look at some of his other work, and his other work doesn't really look exactly like that, so I know that was done. Doing something like this actually takes more time. You would think that if an artist just traces over a photograph, it's faster. It's not. It's actually like takes way more time than to draw one in and then like kind of like simplify it and then just ink that. But if you're drawing over the photograph, there's a lot of work. I've done inking on photographs of buildings before. There's just so much details in there. Okay, we're gonna look at the next page. So this is very nice. Mr. Russell is really good at drawing these cubic characters flying around, these podiums, these columns and stuff. Okay, these pedestals and stuff. I really enjoy the way he draws that. There's some music notes here. It looks somewhat like music notes. Comment down below if you think these are real notes, if you can actually play a tune over there. I don't know, or maybe just random lines that looks like music notes. Okay. So if you enjoyed this video where I review original fine art editions or artist editions or gallery edition, please comment down below, let me know. Hit that like button. For those of you who haven't done so already and enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel. And check out some of my other videos where I show artist editions. I do commentary. If you don't like the commentary, you can mute the video and just play it and just read it. That's okay too, because it also helps with the algorithm of people watching my videos. Right here. Okay, we're starting to get modern. This is the rocket. This kind of reminds me of Gumby over here, except the head is not like, the head's different. If I cover this up, and they'll kind of like Gumby. Gumby's is a green toy, a stretchable toy from a long time ago. Okay, we're gonna look at the other pages. Inking something like this may seem easy compared to all this, but this is actually pretty hard. The details and the flow and the direction, you have to think about where the line's going left and right, and also where, if it's going backwards or if it's going forward towards this direction. Okay, humbug. Okay, good. And then we're gonna look over here. Some nice postures, some nice poses, some good explosion shots over here. We're gonna look at the next page. Okay, good. Mr. Russell does a really nice job. That's why he's one of the legendary artists in our field. Very good designer. Okay, look at this. This kind of looks like a Sandman. Like if I cover up that little top part, you know, make that black hair, that's Sandman. Okay. Which Mr. Russell also worked on Sandman. Oscar Wilde's the devoted friend, adapted for comics. He does a lot of adaptations. Here's this page. Okay, we're coming towards the end of the book almost. Like maybe a good, I would say 15, 20 pages. Okay, Mr. Russell's work is a lot of edgy corners. Most of his work, there's like a lot of sharp points on it. He has the smooth lines as well as sharp points. Like some of these is a sharp point. All these flowers over here also has corners. All these bushes a little sharp. And then he has some soft areas every so often. And then here's this page. Let's go to the next page. There seems to be a crop line over here. I wonder what that's about. That's interesting. Let's take a closer look why that was in the original artwork. Okay, it looks like there was a stat. Okay. Stat is where an artist, they would draw something and then something's changed and then they placed it another sheet here. Placed another sheet here, which the artwork will cover up here, and then they had to re-letter that all over again. This was post-production work, not the letterer and not the artist. They had to like crop stuff over here. Okay, let's see. I like how sometimes when there's a circle on this, I try to look to see if I can find the compass dot, and there he goes, right on his neck. You guys can see that? You see a little dot there? So he had to use a compass, stab it right there on the neck, and then just draw these circles. Sometimes I'll do the same thing. I'll use a compass, I'll stab it there, and then after I draw the circle, I just put a little bit of white out there just to cover up that little hole. But we can see that little dot like right over there. Okay, we're gonna take a look at some of the other pages. Okay, here, some white out here. I'm not sure why there's a white out over there. Yeah, so the artist placed some white out here. I'm not sure why. Okay, we're going to take a look at this page. So far, so good. There's also some white out over here. What is this? Like the paper was not long enough? Oh, I see what happened. They crop it, and then whoever cropped it pasted this on top, and then there was some black lines there, and they had to like cover that up. Same thing with over here. Okay, let's take a look at this little Tweety bird. Okay, we're gonna look at this page. Almost towards the end. Oscar Wilde's The Nightingale and the Nurse, adapted for comics by P. Craig Russell. This was drawn in 2003. It was a while back. Okay, 2003, as of me posting these videos, right now it's 2022. So this was, what, 19 years? P. Craig Russell, 2003. 19 years for the quality of the artwork. That looks pretty good. Like the style of art. A lot of like, see, there's some, I gotta tell you, this is funny. Right here, we can see some math numbers that they're writing here. I guess he's adding his page rate or something. Sometimes the artists, they're talking on the phone and then they're drawing a page at the same time. Most artists, they work in an art studio and they're like for most of the beginning of the day and towards the night. And when people call them, they'll have conversations and then they'll ask, oh, let me give you my phone number, or let me give you these numbers. And they'll just draw it or write it on the side of their artwork. Sometimes they'll forget to erase it. So if you have original artwork and you see a phone number, they may have a name of the person's telephone number that they forgot to erase. You can call them up and then you can talk to like whatever artist or editor. Okay. One time I was working on Excalibur for Marvel, and then the penciler, Pablo Raimondi, he was eating ice cream while he was penciling, and he dropped some ice cream drips like on the top of the paper, and he couldn't erase it. It was all sticky and stuff. When I got it, it felt kind of sticky, and then he wrote a little note. "This is ice cream from Ches de Leche. You should try it. It tastes good." I'm like, I'm not gonna try that. Maybe I'll buy like another bottle of another container of ice cream and try it, but I'm not gonna be licking that artwork. But when I work with artists, sometimes pencilers will write little notes for me. Like they'll say, Walden, make this a thicker line weight, or Walden, use some tones, or do some shading, or do some gray wash over there. So I'll listen to some of the notes that the penciler wrote for me. Now, this was during when we were working on original art. Most of the artwork that we do these days, they're sent through high resolution files. So when I get it to ink, I would get a file, and no need for writing notes and artwork here. Pencil would just type in on their email to me saying that, oh, this panel, this page needs to do this, or they would just call me. Back in the day when I was working for comic books and before the internet, I didn't have access to pencilers, so I couldn't really talk to them through email or talk to them on the phone. Only communication is with the editor. These days, with social media and all, if there's a page that I'm working on that I have questions, I can either call the editor, email the editor, ask him if I can talk to the penciler, and I would get information from there. Okay, here's that last page. So this is the end of the page. If you want to read this, go ahead and read it. Pause the video. I also have some other P. Craig Russell art reviews and fine art editions, so check those out. And again, here is the back cover. Here's the front cover. This was a crowdfunding campaign book, which I bought a secondary market. So if you enjoyed this video, again, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Hit like, share the video, and check out my Patreon pages, patreon.com/WaldenWongArt, all one word. And to find out more about me, here's my website, waldenwongart.com. Until next time, have a good day and take care. Bye-bye.